In 1932, the Australian government went to war with the emus. You guys know what an emu is? That's a large flightless bird. What happened, there was 20,000 of these birds running through the outback, tearing up farmers' crops. So the army came in with tanks and machine guns and went to war with the emus. Now this is the best bit, I'm not making this up, please look it up. We f***ing lost. We lost twice.
Yes, this was actually a real story. Here is what actually happened. Following the First World War, retired veterans who served in the war were given land by the Australian government. These farmers were encouraged to increase their wheat crops with the government promise. The economy of the agricultural started to rise with this movement. Wheat prices started to fall. By October 1932, this situation has come up. Farmers were preparing for the harvest, but it turned into a nightmare by the arrival of approximately 20,000 of emus. The taking care places and lots of food opportunities given by the Australian farmers, the emus now find themselves a very nice place to live for. The emus consumed and spoiled the crop and left large gaps in fences where the rabbits could enter and caused even further problems. Farmers carried their concerns about the birds to the Minister of Defense. Having served in First World War, the soldier settlers were well aware of the effectiveness of machine guns and they requested their deployment. Troops transports was to be financed by the Western Australian government and the farmers would provide food, accommodation and payment for the ammunition. The military also supported the deployment because they thought the birds would make good practice for the soldiers. The first attempt was on 2 November. 50 emus were sighted. But as the birds were out of range of the guns, the birds split into small groups and ran so fast so that they were difficult to target. This event was on 4th November. Army had established an ambush near a local dam and more than 1,000 emus were spotted heading towards their position. This time it turned out emus were not only fast but also they could survive multiple shots. They were only able to kill 20 emus in that day. After this, Army decided to have a survey on emus. They noted that each pack seems to have its own watcher. While his mates are distracting the crew, when they sight people, the emus were splitting up. At this stage, Army come up with mount one of the guns on a truck. But this also failed because the ride was so rough that the gunner was unable to fire accurate shots. By 8 November, 6 days after the first engagement, 2,500 rounds of ammunition had been fired, but the number of the birds killed was only 50. At the same day, since only a few emus had died, the military decided to withdraw the military personnel and the gun. Only 1 month later, so many complaints from the farmers were coming, so Army decided to have a second attempt. Till 10 December, Army claimed 986 confirmed kills, with 9,860 rounds, at a rate of exactly 10 rounds for each kill. This war now has also started to be too expensive for the Australian army. So they recalled the army again and come up with a different solution this time, the bounty system. 57,000 of bounties were claimed over a 6-month period in 1934. But this time the Australians had another problem. This case reached into United Kingdom and some conservationists protested the war as extermination of the rare emu. They described this war as an attempt to mass destruction of the bird. So at the end the government concluded that using soldiers and machine guns was ineffective, expensive and embarrassing for the army at the same time. So they completely ended this operation. Farmers went back more traditional methods like building better fences and they got used to live with emu. The history's strangest battles were finished. The soldiers left and the emus claimed victory without ever firing a shot. As you see, I've just started to make YouTube videos on this channel. Any kind of support would be appreciated. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe button. See you in another video.